I'm already standing. Hang on, we're gonna sit and act like we're not sitting. Like I know I'm doing.
Go ahead and select our coworker.
Slide. Okay, this is April 14th, 2022, 7 p.m. Village of Minerva Park Council meeting. We will start with roll call. Councilperson Koss. Present. Councilperson Tresla. Present. Councilperson Camera.
Present.
Council President Wolf.
Here.
Councilperson Bruger is on his way, and we'll announce when he gets here. And Councilperson McNamara.
Present.
And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, meeting minutes, March 24th. Council meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second. Ooh, got two of them. We will give that to Councilperson Tresta. And sorry, I'll give you the next one. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Abstentions? All right, those are approved. Village official reports. Let's start with Chief Matt Delp for the police department.
Thank you, Mayor. I included my report. I don't have anything to add at this time.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Chief at this time? Okay. We had a pretty long fiscal meeting yesterday, so at this point in time, Jeff has not been here to get his feet wet long enough, I thought. So he will be here in attendance at the next, the first meeting of the month in May. So I would expect to see that switch over to Jeffrey Wilczek will be at those meetings. So at this time, there's not a fiscal officer here. We just had a finance meeting yesterday. If anybody has any questions, feel free to email me or our fiscal team, and they would be more than happy to answer any questions.
I'll report on the finance.
And then-
committee meeting.
exactly.
After that.
When we get there, we'll let Brian handle it. Engineers report, Mike Flickinger. He also is not in attendance tonight, but I have his report. Task order number 14, Westerville City School District Minerva Park School Plan Review. They provided an on-site inspection services for the contractor's connection to the existing water main to provide service to the school. Task order number 18 is the 2021 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. Based on the contractor's latest schedule, mobilization is tentatively scheduled for mid-May. That is actually a little bit better than we heard the last time where we thought it was going to be June. And the contractor will be starting earthwork at that time. We intend to coordinate further with the contractor before the end of April to confirm material delivery schedule and site access as well. So, Stacy, once we get that, I'll keep you in the loop and let you know on that. Sure. Task order number 20 is the 2022 Storm Sewer Improvement Project. They reviewed the hydraulic model based on the additional record information from Columbus. They are updating the information, which looks as if it will reduce the flow rate and thus reduce the recommended pipe size, which is great because it was like $1 million is what they kind of triggered it. So hopefully that'll be quite a bit better. We are still coordinating with Columbus to determine the necessary sewer size and the extent of replacement for the sewers along the northern border boundary behind Jordan Road. So actually, Stacy, we can meet as soon as we get that.
Yeah.
So that would be the time to do that. Okay. Task order number 22 is the 2022 CCTV inspection analysis. They prepared 2 scopes for us, one for sanitary sewer and one for televising storm sewer, and issued those to Flowline for pricing. We actually passed on doing those last year and decided that we wanted to give ourselves a break to catch up on the projects that we currently have. And it is going to be Mike's recommendation and my hope that we will resume those this year. And that would be televising sanitary and starting over again in the sanitary and finishing up some of the storm sewer. So just watch for that to come up, and I'm sure Stacy will be asking for everybody to move on those. So that is Mike Flickinger's report. Does anybody have any questions for me for Mike?
I have one very brief one.
Go ahead.
A while back, last year, I was speaking with the owners of the property that is now Inskeep Printing, and they were wondering if it would be possible, I know I discussed previously, to be linked in with that water work going on, or there is anything moved on that. I know that had been looked into in the previous year, but I hadn't seen any update.
We do not have an update for you just yet.
Okay. So there you go.
All
There's our
right.
interim. And then let's move to legal counsel, Jesse.
Nothing to add beyond the memo I sent this morning, kind of explaining the emergency legislation. Happy to address that as we get to that legislation.
And then just so everybody is aware, all of that has been uploaded to the website in multiple locations. So it is easy for people to find from the front page to the facility. It's in multiple locations. So that is there as well. So thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Jesse?
I just want to say in regards to that, once we get to that though, it is a really great informational meeting. So I think everybody watching should definitely look at that first and then look at this meeting.
Absolutely. I agree. Lots of good information.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move over to village planning. Eric Fisher.
Thank you, Mayor. Things are moving along with the schools. They're on schedule with the elementary schools and around by summerish. So I should have more information by next meeting as to the exact schedule. Ins and outs of middle school, what's going up, all kinds of fun things going on over there, but it's progressing as expected per plan. P&Z, we're seeing, I think we're going to have the next step for the review of the village code in front of P&Z in full. We did an introduction to the last one. And so that's moving along. And obviously, everything with the building is proceeding, both financing, and we should have an update, I believe, for construction council is on vacation or something, but you should have some.
Yes, he sent back the AIA modified documents to the Garmin Miller for them to sort of redo a bid.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're waiting on that, and then we'll be going back out to bid again once we get that
Awesome.
short up.
Perfect. Does anybody have any questions for Eric? Okay. Zoning officer, the report is in there from John Canty. If anybody has any questions, feel free to email him, email myself. He's usually pretty quick at getting back to everybody. So any questions, just let me know. And then let's move to planning and zoning. Brian?
I actually was not in attendance at the last meeting as I was out of town. But I know the next one was canceled, so there's the next date is not until May.
Correct. The work session, we have business, we have variance on May 4th one to consider for a lot at Wildwood and Cardinal. It's an open lot there that someone is in contract for, which will need some help. So it's a little thin. So we'll see that. And obviously then as noted, the zoning code need to be reviewed in full.
That was the only other thing I was going to report on is that we've had two sort of work sessions starting to go through and redline for the code review.
Do you have anything else planning and zoning? I think that was pretty much it, but okay, awesome. MPCA, let's move to Councilperson Trustcliffe.
So I met with them last night. Their new website is up and live, and it's got way more opportunity to do some stuff than what they had previously. So they're really excited about that. They are planning their attendance at the NCC Awards. 3 of their people with Monica will be in attendance for that. Our newsletter is up for Newsletter of the Year Award. Fun fact. They are just really getting excited as we get into warmer weather. They have a lot of events coming up, including some new events like movie nights and some other stuff that they're trying to do some licensing for. So they're excited for warmer weather to be able to do that.
And love the new website. I've
Yes.
already been on it, so
Awesome.
perfect. I'm excited to see that. Lots of updates and all that, so they did a great job. Okay, anything else? Anybody have any questions? Let's go right back to you. Communications.
So we're getting ready to start, May 1st, we're gonna do our trial for 30 days of our email subscription stuff. We and Barb kind of went over it time and time again. That way we can just take advantage of everything it can do, take advantage of whatever it can do. Survey, we're still kind of working on that. I did send out something that was sent out recently by the Hannibal Police. I think we should kind of think about including that, as well as some of our pool membership, just to kind of get a read on people, how they're feeling about the new membership options and just stuff like that. If we can collect data. There's zero reasons that we're not doing that on any avenue. You know what I mean? That's it for right now. We are meeting the 21st.
Ooh, what time? Was it right before the other, yeah.
7 on Zoom.
We'll just go from one to the other. Do you want me to send out the Zoom link? That way I can do both, because I'll send out 2 separate ones.
Yes.
I'll do it, yes, I will do the one at 7 and then one, and I'll make sure that it does get posted. Awesome. Okay, let's move to finance. Council President Wolf.
As alluded to earlier, Finance Committee had a robust discussion last night regarding the financing that we are endeavoring into, or I believe the readings are starting tonight for the financing that we were endeavoring into for, untie my tongue there. It is TIF revenue financing, and so it is financing that we're engaging into that will pay off our TIF obligation to MI. It will be the revenue source for the building renovation, as well as lake dredging and a handful of other potential projects beyond that. It is 25-year financing at an exceptional rate, and that meeting and all of its details are available to you to view online. Feel free to find it at our website. There you go.
Perfect.
I think that's.
All right, Council, does anybody have any questions for Brian? Anybody have any questions for Councilperson Treslow on communications? I think I forgot that one. Okay, there we go. Councilperson Cost, streets.
Streets is gonna meet hopefully next week to talk about some things. At this point, they did start the street assessment. I have not seen a report come across yet.
It usually will take a few weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that basically, and that's kind of on the docket, and CCTV from last year is kind of combined into a good planning meeting, so we can get everything ready before summer starts.
Yay. Okay, does anybody have any questions for Councilperson Cost for streets? No. Councilperson Camera, community, you've been busy.
A little bit, you'll probably notice that there's some signs out that have popped up since Saturday to promote the pool. It's got the link, the QR code on to snap and take it to the site. And then we're working a lot on the diversity week. So a lot of things in the works right now. Yeah, some exciting things coming up. That's really kind of it from what I told you all Saturday.
Everybody sign up for the pool.
Yeah,
Yes.
pool membership's going really well.
We're gonna put you on the spot if you don't. How about
I
that?
think we're over 40,
Well,
40 members,
Yeah.
which a year ago, Barb and I looked up, we started taking membership a week earlier, but after the first week, we only had 8, whereas this year we were in the 20s, almost to 30 after the first week. So pretty good results so far.
there are a lot of people doing it online.
Yeah, most of them are doing it online. Yeah,
That's good.
just a few are coming in, and really we're getting a good mix of kind of all the different memberships that are there.
Yeah, there is. There's, I think there was at least 4 premiums so far, and I think that's the one I'm gonna do too. I still haven't made my decision, but, so yeah, it's, yeah, all of them have sold, and we'll see how it goes. I'm pretty sure we can have some weekend ones.
did.
Yeah, I thought we had some.
Yep, we have
So, all kinds of options for people, so that, I love it. I love it. Okay,
And when you said we started a week earlier, did you mean we started a week earlier last year or this
No,
year?
last year we earlier.
So that might be something to think about, that if you do it too soon, people are like, it's cold and yucky out.
Mhm.
I'm not
Right.
thinking about the pool yet.
Yeah.
But you get a couple last days, and like,
Right.
oh, pool season's
I'm there
coming up.
yet.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
I don't know if it's the time or just that it's easier this year or what.
I do have a question. Should we start like doing like promotional stuff, communication stuff on nice days to remind people about the pool?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Wouldn't hurt anything.
Yeah, as of right now, we have 43 people that have applied for the membership.
Wow.
That's pretty good.
And I think it's over 100 individual people.
Let's say registered, applied, and soon.
Oh,
Kinda sounds
yeah,
like
sorry,
We're
registered.
still waiting for approval.
Want to get to approve?
okay, on that note, does anybody have any questions for Councilperson Cameron? Okay, let's move over to Councilperson McNamara, safety.
All right, so there has not been a formal meeting, and I'm not sure if this would be best discussed here or in a meeting, but I, been, following the chief's reports, and I also keep an eye on, I know I've said I try not to with the Facebook, and there has been some, it's probably seasonal, a seasonal increase in more people out and about driving, walking, but, I've seen more than one thing asking me and members of the, village council to, pass along the request for an increased presence near the pool and, on Minerva Lake Road, which is my understanding that is occasionally seen as a stoplight-free bypass between, Cleveland and Route 3. So I've also seen plenty of people saying that you guys are out there all the time doing a great job, but apparently the presence in those areas is greatly appreciated. They also discussed a stop sign possibly. I'm not sure how the logistics of that would work, to be perfectly honest, but I figured we'd start if that was ever something that would be addressed.
I think that would be part of a traffic study at this point, where I would kind of address that.
That would make sense to me. I
Um,
figured something along those lines.
So, we can explore those things. Speed bumps maybe too. I know a lot of people
Absolutely
are
not.
Absolutely not.
against speed bumps. You guys preempted me there.
You guys can talk about that when I'm no longer there.
Okay.
When I'm no longer sitting here.
I mean, we have, in my
We
opinion, we
couldn't
have
narrow it.
signal speed bumps and the police are always there, so they slow people down.
That is also traffic.
I'm okay. Just speed bumps or not, they tear up your
Yeah,
car.
I'm sorry, I'm coming out right now firmly in the anti-speed bump camp.
Good.
Just use speed humps.
I'll put a video camera out in front of my office at my mom's and you can watch how fast they take air over top of those, is all I'm gonna tell you. I mean, it's like boom, boom. I'm like, okay, yeah, those help.
That's the gist of it, you guys are doing great, but just, I'm sure it's just a seasonal increase that I've noticed looking specifically for safety stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come up with something. More geese in the area to slow people down.
More geese.
Yeah, that's funny.
Maybe that's the problem. We're trying to get rid of them,
Yeah,
and maybe we
don't get
need
rid of
more.
They're seasonal
They're
speed
not
bumps.
going
I don't
anywhere, so.
understand.
Okay, that was
I don't
good.
know, I understand why you slow down for something that has wings. It can get out of the way. It
They
can
will.
fly, and it
Yeah,
will.
they can go up, we can't.
You can make a move. If you stop, they will stay up there. If you don't, they'll go like, oh.
That's
Better
a
move.
offspring.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hurry up and get past this conversation.
Okay.
Let's go to Councilperson Bruger for legislation.
All right, first off, everyone, just my apologies there for my tardiness. I'm going to blame it on not having school tomorrow and having a meeting last night. I just thought it was Friday and we were done for the week.
Good answer.
We have not had a legislative meeting yet. We're having one, I believe, before the next meeting on the
28th,
right?
28th. Yeah, so 2 meetings from now. The only sort of big unknown still is, and Jesse's here, so I'm gonna say, Jesse, tell us about those flags, or did, we talked about this at work session, it's gonna just fold it into the delivery, right?
Yeah.
So I no longer get to ask people about the flags, because that will be part of,
It's reviewed in the rewrite.
not until it's reviewed in the rewrite. So that's pretty much it.
All right, mayor's report.
Okay. First off, Eric, thank you for getting everybody involved in the meeting last night. I know that was a quick turnaround from Saturday and everybody was there and it was a lot of great information. Again, I think it's great to have it on the website. So if anybody needs more information, there's all kinds of information on there. Also, just thank you to all the council people that are just going above and beyond right now. Just everything from, I don't need to say it. I know you guys know what you're doing, but I appreciate everybody getting and jumping in and doing everything that they're doing. I know the pool can be a headache and a lot of work, and it's been great this year. So we are hiring a maintenance person. If anybody, this is my plea, if anybody knows anybody that's 17 or over and wants to cut some grass, we're looking for you. That's all I gotta say. So if anybody knows anybody, now's the time. Other than that, that's really all I have.
All right.
And we will move to citizen comments.
Tony Benedetti, 2937 Berry Lane Court. Tonight I'm going to start off with this out of the Ohio Municipal League. I think you guys, I got the 2018 version. You guys went through training, and I like the first petition. go over the part that's called the mayor-council relationship. And it says the mayor of a statutory planned village shares the administration with village affairs with the council. You know, this is something that I've been fighting over for some time, is that this is not just the mayor's responsibility to administer the affairs of the village. It's council and the mayor. It goes on to say that this infers frank discussion between mayor and council, the sharing of information, the joint effort of these major policymakers to the progress of the city. If this atmosphere of general cooperation is absent, it is likely that many good ideas and programs of the mayor and the council will be frustrated. This is a situation I think that's taking place within the council when I was on it, and it's happening right now. Because I'm not seeing the frank discussion. There's just, this is what the mayor and the staff wants to do, and do you guys agree? You know, that's what's going on with the bond issuing, is I haven't had a chance. I did listen to the Saturday morning work session and the first few minutes of the finance committee meeting. I cannot understand where the mayor gets the understanding that a vast majority of the residents of this village want to spend $8 million to make all the improvements to the amphitheater, which is tied to this loan. If this loan isn't done, we're not doing the amphitheater, or the pavilion, or the lake, or the building. The one thing I haven't heard brought up yet in being funded, being paid for, is the storm sewer projects. It's my understanding that this money cannot be used for the storm sewer projects over on Jordan Road, because that doesn't directly affect the new development. Now, that's $1 million, you know, that we don't know. I don't believe you have any idea how you're going to pay for that. I think we've got the money for the East Shore Court project, but I don't know how you guys are going to pay for the storm sewer improvements on Jordan Road. And Stacy's asked, is this going to affect the taxes? This $8 million loan? Well, it very well could, because if you don't have the money to pay for the storm sewers over there, you're going to, what are you going to do? Have a storm sewer levy? You know, so you guys need to slow your roll on this $8 million bond issuance. You know, and I haven't seen the meeting, and I saw the first 10 minutes of it, and I couldn't watch it anymore after I heard the mayor say a vast majority of the residents want to spend $8 million to dredge the lakes and put, you know, redo the amphitheater. A vast majority of the residents that I talk to want tax relief, and this is not heading in that direction. So I'm going to stop with that part of it. The last few minutes, I'd like to talk about the pass out, the thing that I handed out, because that's the information. The mayor says I'm not presenting the information with regards to the fence application. The very top page there is a survey from the people at 2706 Wildwood. If you look at the red line, that's a spot where the fence is 2 feet into the neighbor's property. You know, and it's not, and the survey doesn't even represent the way the fence has been built. It's inaccurate. And so if you go to the next page, you will see that that survey says on the other side of the house that that fence is into the neighbor's property 0.2 feet, which is about 2.5 inches into the neighbor's property. I'm not sure how much more evidence you need to be presented to understand that that fence is not up to code. Now, if you go to the next page, you'll see I have highlighted part of the fence code where it talks about the distance, or that only one style of fence or wall may be permitted per property line. Now, this is a part of the code that I don't think it's ever been enforced correctly, and I don't even know what that exactly means. But at this
Mr. Benedetto,
particular,
your time is up.
Okay. So we're gonna move on to legislation. There's so many things I would like to say right now, and I'm just gonna not do it. So, which is a surprise to
Send out
me.
an email.
That's okay.
Okay, so first. Okay, ordinance 06-2022, an ordinance allocating funding for construction and improvement of the village amphitheater project and declaring an emergency. This would be the village allocating $85,000 for the designated amphitheater fund upon condition of the village securing the proceeds of the tax increment financing. As was actually just mentioned a bit ago, without that, this doesn't go through. This doesn't require us to pay $85,000. I believe one of the reasons we want to declare an emergency and justifications for it is we need to be able to show to the state that we have the money allocated to be eligible for their matching grant. I am not aware of the time frame on that.
We have to get submitted here in the next 30 days.
Yeah, I assume there would be a time given that.
Okay.
When we spoke with Representative Lightbody about that, when we set with planning and zoning, her words, not mine, was we either use it now or we are about to lose it. Those were her exact words.
This would just lock it in. Of course, then if the other financing ducks don't fall in a row, we will just say, sorry, state, we're not going to take it because we're not doing this. And they'll say, good, we don't want to give it to you anyway. And well, I assume even state governments don't like giving money back to local governments. So I'm going to move to pass this as an emergency.
Second.
Moved and second. We already had some debate and clarification. Any other debates or comments? All right. Madam Mayor?
Councilperson Trescott.
Aye.
Councilperson Cost.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Council President Moore.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruegger.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
All right, moving on to ordinance 07-2022. This is the big one. Bear with me as I get through this title. An ordinance providing for the insurance and sale of not to exceed $8 million of special obligation development revenue bonds, Series 2022, of the Village of Minerva Park, Ohio, under Chapter 5709 of the Ohio Revised Codes for the purpose of paying the cost of certain public improvements, authorizing a pledge of a lien on certain service payments, secure such bonds, authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond.
Of the trust agreement.
I'm sorry, no.
Delivery of the trust agreement.
Authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond
Oh,
purchase
I'm looking at
agreement.
the.
I've seen trust agreements.
All right, yeah,
It's
you're
bond,
fine.
yeah,
All right. I was looking in the
I
packet.
okay. We will have to make sure we rectify which one is correct.
Is it trust or bond?
Mine says purchase in the packet.
And hers
I have
says purchase.
trust.
I
I
have
have a
trust.
bond trust. All of them say purchase. One says bond, one says trust.
It's,
Well,
and
they're fine.
you're looking at
Clear
the
that up.
legislation and we're looking
Yeah,
at
before
the
that.
other in the agenda.
Gotcha.
So that's the difference.
Okay, so we
That's
can clarify that.
Yep, we will get that. Authorizing the execution and delivery of a bond purchase agreement. I'll finally get through that sentence. If any or other agreements or related documents to secure such bonds. Authorizing the execution and delivery of the transaction documents. Authorizing and approving related matters and declaring an emergency. Okay, so yes, this is the proposed plan to pay for things like the renovated building and the lake remediation. Interesting little thing in that is that title, authorizing a pledge of a lien on certain service payments. The lien would be on the TIF money. Some of that $8 million would go to MI Homes, who we currently still owe about $2.6 million from the TIF money. Currently, right now, the TIF property taxes coming in from the new development are going straight to MI Homes, as they had dibs on the first, was it 4 or 5?
4 million.
The dibs on the first 4 million, they needed to be repaid before we could access it. This would allow us to repay them immediately. It would also give the money that we were planning to collect for the next 20, 25 years to us now instead of waiting 20 years to get it. And if anyone else wants to describe it better than that, those are my bullet points on it.
Did good.
Can I say one little
You
thing?
can say whatever
I'm
you
gonna get
want.
myself in trouble. The TIF revenue cannot be used towards sewer projects. Is that accurate over in the Jordan Road
I
area?
don't believe that, I think we would need to have.
The long and short of that is, yes,
There
it
There you
cannot, it cannot be used
It can be used for improvements in the MI section.
in the MI section and improvements that benefit the MI section, and a sewer
Yeah.
project that distance does not benefit the MI section.
That was my only comment.
Does the lake spend, you know, I don't know how to say so, I don't see how the lake spent.
Okay, go ahead.
I think we should, as a new person on here, I do think that it is important to kind of, instead of like halfway jumping into like what we just talked about, I think it is important to revisit what the TIF is, what's going on, what is the $8 million, how we got to this point. I mean, that finance meeting from yesterday is available, but it is an hour and a half of time, so if we could just kind of provide a little bit of background to that, I think that would be very beneficial to everybody watching at least this meeting. So I think that's super important, if anybody wants to jump in.
Yeah, this is big stuff.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I will tell you that that's exactly what we did last night, and doing it again feels
I think
redundant
it's
to me.
important, it's not
but-
redundant because we're doing it in two
How
different
about
meetings.
this?
If it's 5 minutes for our residents to understand what we're doing with $8
Yeah,
million,
we'll argue
it's
about it
worth
more
it to
than
me.
here. I can get it done in short order.
You did good last night.
Yeah,
I just
okay.
did also.
So,
it's fine.
so the financing that the legislation was just read in regards to is TIF revenue financing. The TIF is an agreement that was made upon at the time that we annexed the land that the MI properties was on, that we designated as a TIF district, right? That set a baseline tax value for all of that property, right? Any improvements done on that property, the tax revenue that is generated by those improvements, instead of just going and distributed in the normal fashion, go to a TIF fund. The TIF fund is, it sort of circumvents some of the other places that some of that might get, so the township isn't collecting their cut of that, right? That's going to our TIF fund. The school is getting all of theirs because this is a non-school TIF. Right, so that's what this pot of money is, but it is also limited in how it can be used. It has to be used in a manner that benefits the TIF district. Okay, now the financing that we're doing is using the revenue for that as the securement or as the lien on. It's basically the revenue source that we are pledging to pay this back. Right, and so what we are looking at is to borrow not more than $8 million. That $8 million is going to first pay off MI, because again, in our TIF agreement, we pledged to them the first $4 million in revenue off the TIF. And that's to reimburse them for all of the infrastructure that they installed that is now ours. The next is to pay for the renovations that we are moving towards for this building. After that, it would be lake dredging. After that, there are a handful of other smaller village service / infrastructure projects. Things that have been discussed are a maintenance garage or a walkway that may connect certain parts of the village, or other walkways that help in the walkability of the village as a whole, which could be used by any of our residents. Those are the subsequent projects. But again, it is a 25-year financing the funding source for the payback is the TIF. 25 years, and the interest rate that we are locking in at this time is 3.77%.
Yep.
And we have 45 days to lock that rate in. I think that's very
Well,
important.
I think we locked it. Did you sign the papers?
We should be doing it tomorrow.
Right, and so we have that rate for 45 days once the mayor has returned that paperwork, which means that we have to have this legislation read and in place and in force before the end of those 45 days, or that interest rate will expire and most likely go up.
You can't predict the future, but if you watch the news,
Right.
interest rates aren't getting lower right now, they're getting higher.
So I think that was an excellent summation. All I would add is that it is very difficult to explain what was just explained in a 5-minute window. And I would really encourage anyone interested to find the video from last night. We had experts in every area you could imagine, collaborative discussion, insightful questions, and a good discussion. And I think if you are interested in this at all, that is your resource. Everything you need to know is right there, explained to you, and now on the website as well.
Yes.
And good detail.
All right, well, there you go. That was just a first reading. It has been read and advertised, I would say. Moving on to Resolution 2022-09, a resolution to amend and revise the Minerva Park fee schedule and to declare an emergency so that the fee schedule may reflect current practices. Our changes in the fee schedule on this, mine's all in black and white, so can someone help me on that one? I know the big one was,
Looks like chickens, ducks, and rabbits.
I don't think it's getting changed. I think that was just the last one.
There's,
it's the,
the right-of-way permit is a big one.
but mine is, there we go.
Right, so the big one is the right-of-way
I
permit
think,
of $500 for up to 2 hours of permit review. And then
There's-
the other one of note is records retrieval.
I thought we already had passed the right-of-way permit the last one.
I know it's on here
I know.
for another reading.
I know, I think they just copied one of my drafts before to use it. They updated the records retrieval, but that's fine. Since it's in here, it's in here. I think we've already accepted that.
Oh, the right-of-way is already
Yes,
accepted.
yeah,
Now
because
this
we
one
did
is
that last
just,
time.
is
This one should
just
just be
records
for
retrieval.
record retrieval.
Records
Special
retrieval,
duty officer.
special duty officer is one that we also changed that had
Yeah,
not been used in
those
years,
two.
and that was one that I wanted to get done before. And we haven't had anybody rent the pool that has needed that, but that is one of the large things that we would be using that for in the event that somebody needs security for the pool when they rent it.
Those are the two.
I think those were the main two. I'm looking.
All right.
Okay, and particularly with, since it's special duty officer, $55 per hour, that would be like if you wanted to have a lot of people wait at night at the pool, we might say, okay, but you have to have a police officer there, and then that officer's time needs to be paid for.
Yes. And that's in line with other areas around us, just so you know.
And then we need to get that passed and nailed down in time for people to actually use it. So this is a third reading. I'm going to move to pass that as an emergency.
Second,
Moved and seconded by Councilperson Camara.
camera.
See, that's what I do.
So close, so close. I only just said it the one other way to say it. That's
It's
wrong.
not
Yeah.
the wrong syllable.
Okay. Anybody have any questions before I do the roll call? Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruegger.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera. Councilperson Tresta.
Aye.
And Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Okay, passed. Moving on to resolution 2022-12. I will say, just looking on this real quick, no, that is correct because May 12th is May and not April. First reading, a resolution affirming the appointment of Matthew Clark as a full-time police officer for the village of Minerva Park, Ohio. It is only the first reading, so Councilperson McNamara, you may not ask Chief anything.
I've already met them both,
Awesome.
so I won't ask anything.
And our last one, also similarly, is Resolution 2022-13, a resolution affirming the appointment of Tammy Phillips as a full-time police lieutenant for the village, of Minerva Park. First reading, these two officers are already working for us, and we're coming up on their 6th month when we say, okay, you're official now. That is what I understood it to be, and that is legislation for this evening.
I'm excited.
All right, thank you for that. And let's move over to old business. Does anybody have any old business? Going once, going twice, new business. Anybody, going once, going twice?
Move to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right, let's get back out of here.
Hey, Dave. Yeah, we've come straight from work, and so you're here. Great, thanks for making it easy.
Yeah, I beat you to it this time. I actually had both those officers last month and got to know myself, so. I will probably still do it visually just for the record, like I like to do it better. Well, thank you. I knew you were just messing around.
It is. And do it from there.
Monday to Friday.
Then you don't do it tonight.
You will catch.
My issue, I asked all those questions yesterday, but you didn't do your homework to watch that video, and you're coming here and you're accusing me of not doing my homework.
I'm not accusing you of not doing your homework.
Then watch that video and there was.
Listen, that video, I don't know what time it went up, but it wasn't up this morning.
Watch that video and then we'll talk, because that hasn't